Warning, this podcast contains themes of extreme violence and murder. Subject matter may be offensive to some listeners. Discretion advised.
Welcome to another episode of Evil Transgression, your homicide headquarters here in podcasting. I'm Josh, and with me as always, Dustin and Rex.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Was you picking your nose?
No, I was scratching.
Yes, he was.
Oh, I was scratching the inside of my nose.
Yeah, it tickled.
Up to my first knuckle, I was scratching.
I was scratching the outside.
Huh.
It itched. Every time you start talking, my nose itches. For some reason.
Are you allergic to him?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Wow.
Okay.
This is going to go well.
You guys keeping up with this Gabby Petito story?
I am very interested in it.
Yeah.
You keeping an eye on it? The chick that disappeared?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the going across country in the converted van.
Right.
Can we just say that it's weird that he was home for like 10 days before he
never did nothing. They called in a missing person.
Before they called him missing person, he was home for like 10 days.
Yeah, with her van.
That's weird.
Yeah.
The van belongs
And
to her,
then-
correct?
I believe. But then he lawyered up, like as soon as he got home.
Yeah, his parents wouldn't let the authorities talk to him or anything. They
Right.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Now he's disappeared.
Somebody did it.
Somebody's in some kind of trouble.
Something's a little fishy.
They need to find him.
They got to track him down quickly.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been missing since, I think, Tuesday. The last time anybody's seen him.
And here's my thing, though. Like, they're like, well, we couldn't bring him in for anything. Well, why couldn't you bring him in for a stolen vehicle? If the van belonged to her, right? They're not married.
Right.
She's disappeared. He's in possession of the van. At least bring him in for stolen vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And you could question him.
Why wasn't anybody watching his house?
I don't know, man.
Or watching him?
Florida. Right? Are they in Florida?
Yep.
Florida man.
Florida man.
You know, there's an entire website devoted to Florida man.
Yeah. You can just like Google like Florida man and then like your birth date
Uh-huh.
and something crazy always happens.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you should do it.
I'm going to have to do it.
But yeah, this story is very captivating.
It is.
Hopefully she's safe.
Right.
It's not looking good.
No.
Unfortunately not.
What if it was just like a big publicity stunt though? Like,
I doubt it was.
I mean, I hope not. That'd be a waste of resources.
Yeah.
But then if you think about it, we should make Dustin come up missing. We could get publicity for the show.
That's a good idea.
That's always gotta be me.
Because you do the least amount.
No.
Because you still haven't got those hats.
Actually,
That's exactly it.
Actually, I do the second most.
Me and Rex will be the first. We'll lawyer up. I can hear the news stories now. It's because Dustin didn't get them hats. They're guilty, bro.
Rex does the most because he puts it all together. I write stories and do, reach out to people and try to get features and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, about half the time. Josh
All you
does the
do
other way.
is talk.
I'm good at it.
You are. You're better than me.
That's just because I can read at a 5th grade level.
Whatever.
That's impressive.
I actually graduated high school
Yeah.
and went to college.
Did you?
Me too.
Where'd you go? Columbus State?
I did.
Hey, I don't blame you. It's a lot cheaper than OSU.
It
Yeah.
is. Well, that and you couldn't get into OSU.
Well, my whole plan was to go. I can get into OSU. I could. My plan was to go to Columbus State, get my Associate of Arts, and then transferred to Ohio State for early education.
Right.
I was going to be your kids' teachers.
Why don't you go get your liberal arts degree?
I was going to get just arts. He's got a master's in art. Where's he work? Walmart.
Well, speaking of liberal arts, have you guys ever heard of Kenyon College up close to Mount Vernon?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, it's a place I go up and work at sometimes. It's a pretty big campus, and there's been celebrities and their kids that have gone there.
Really?
I think Michael J. Fox's kid either went there or they at least went to check it out.
Kind of goes hand in hand. Celebrities, liberal arts.
True. I'm just saying it's a well-known one, and it's right in.
It's well known, except for we didn't know that.
What you got for us today?
Oh, I got a good one.
Do you?
Oh, will we?
Yeah. It's a story about a gentleman who has a pretty rough upbringing. Common theme there, right?
Yeah.
Who eventually just does something stupid.
Yeah. That explains everybody.
Common theme. Now, this one, though, the penalty phase of this one is a very highly debated thing. And we'll explain why. We'll get your opinion on it.
Let's do it.
So buckle up, evil mob, as we discuss Marvin Gabrion. Marvin Charles Gabrion was born October 18th, 1953. There was another pretty well-known guy that was born on October 18th. Do you know who he is?
I do.
Nope, and we don't care.
It's me.
Ooh, yeah.
It's my birthday.
Oh my God, look who cares.
Marvin Gabrion is the fifth of 6 children in his family.
Wow.
He had 3 older sisters and an older brother, and he also had a younger brother. So 5 of 6.
I know what it's like to have 3 older sisters.
Do you?
Yeah, it's no fun.
That's not very nice.
I'm the oldest, so.
No, well, it's no fun because there's nobody.
Is it because they used to put makeup on you and dress you up?
There's no one to play with.
Marvin was described as a real good little boy who was happy all the time and got along with everyone. He was also described as shy and quiet. The Gabrion family lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan when Marvin was young. They moved to a cabin in Walhalla, Michigan. And when Marvin was 12, they finally settled in White Cloud, Michigan. So they traveled, but stayed in Michigan.
Right.
Marvin worked many odd jobs as a young boy, cleaning boats, mowing lawns, doing yard work, cutting grass, the typical thing. But it just goes to show that he was productive as a child.
Yeah.
He was a good student until his last year of high school. He played on several sports teams, including basketball, football, track, and field. Marvin was never in trouble in high school, stayed out of trouble. He never had any disciplinary issues. And everything was good in school except for he had an attendance problem.
Okay.
Right? But that's all to be explained here in a second. His IQ score was also very high. However,
I can relate to that.
now this is what's weird is he's got a high IQ, but his grades in school were not very good.
Could he not stay focused, maybe, or?
Well, they said that it was basically because of home life.
Could see that. He was distracted by other things.
Yeah. But he's such a good kid. They said that he even walked away from fights before at school. Like, people were picking on him because he was a smart kid.
Yeah.
And they basically called him nerdy. He was like a nerd. But he didn't get good grades because of all the distractions, getting picked on. And then also at home, his dad was a drunk who basically would come home from work drunk, make fun of Marvin, and mistreat him.
So he was just getting it from every direction.
Right. Right. I mean, his dad's a real piece of work.
Yeah.
You know, we say that a lot. But his dad, one time, slammed his head into a 2x4 because he was trying to burn some garbage too close to the house.
So he hit him with a 2x4.
Wow.
No, he beat his head up against the 2x4. Like, grabbed his head and was slamming it up against a freaking piece of wood.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, the home life isn't just that. Like, the dad really could care less about Marvin, is the way it seems, because even when he was sick, the dad wouldn't take him to get looked at by a doctor or anything.
You know, I never understood stuff like that. Like, how are you so mean? Certain people, how are you so mean to your kids? You know?
I mean, was he mean to all of them or just him?
I mean, I think the most of it went towards Marvin.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was just like the pick.
But out of 6 kids, how do you just pick one? Like,
Well, I'm sure the other kids had it rough too,
right.
because the dad was a drunk. But I think with Marvin being like one of the smarter kids with the high IQ, and, you know, he just looks at him like, yeah, he's a nerd. Blah, blah. I just think that he took like the brunt of it. But I mean, there was an instance where Marvin Gabrion came down with such a high fever and started acting strange. And the dad's like, wouldn't take him to the hospital until it got to the point where it was like an emergency.
Yeah.
They finally took him to the hospital and he was diagnosed with pneumonia, and they had to operate on him to remove, quote, leather-like material from his lungs.
Wow.
Jesus. I mean, that's not good.
No.
When you allow your kid to get that sick, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's really bad.
No, like, child laws back then?
Well, evidently in Michigan, things are done a little different.
They sure are.
His parents were often absent from the home, and that would leave his older sisters in charge of taking care of Marvin and his brothers. When the family lived in Walhalla, the father lived in Grand Rapids, like not even staying in the same home, and he would only come home on the weekends. Now, his mother, Marvin's mother, would also leave the home for a long time. And on one occasion, she took one of his older brothers and stayed with another man for several months.
Oh, wow.
And on another occasion, the mom had a nervous breakdown and the authorities stepped in and took the kids, like, until she could get her stuff straightened.
So now they take the kids? They didn't take them when dude had leather lungs?
Yeah, right.
Like,
it takes the mom having a nervous breakdown.
Uh-huh.
like, forget the fact that this kid almost died, you know, but we're going to take him because mama went a little crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Well, I mean, really, the only people that's raising him right now is his older sisters. And that's all he's got that are taking care of him.
Right.
And, I mean, they're doing the best they can. But there was another time he got sick again and developed a high fever, became delirious, where he ended up walking outside in the snow, and they eventually found him lying in a snowbank.
Wow.
Michigan in the winter is not a warm place.
No,
Right.
it's not.
So, I mean, but like I said, the sisters are doing the best they can, but they're kids too.
Yeah.
So Marvin Gabrion did not have a very stable relationship with his mom and dad, and they didn't have a very stable relationship with each other as well. Both of them had stepped outside the marriage and had extramarital affairs. That's both of them. And they often fought with each other in front of the kids. Most of the time it was after drinking. But that's not all. The fights were actually pretty physical as well, where they would punch and scratch each other. They even knocked each other's front teeth out.
That is crazy.
That's
Wow.
insane.
What?
Knocked each other's front teeth out.
That's bad.
But this is in front of your kids. You got 6 kids.
Oh, I know.
You're beating the
Yeah.
crap out of your husband or your wife, knocking their teeth out.
That's the most white trash stuff.
It is. It is, but I mean, it's terrible for these kids. You know what? We've done enough of these cases, and we've been into true crime most of our lives enough to know that this is not going to lead to good things for these children. So, but I mean, the parents themselves, other than fighting with each other, are also not very good influences on their children either, because the mom at one time took one of her kids to siphon gas out of a vehicle belonging to somebody else.
What?
Yeah, we're low on fuel for the station wagon. Let's go suck some gas out of Timmy's truck. I mean,
I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
You can.
They are some bad parents.
This is literally one of the most white trash stories I've ever heard.
Yeah.
We're going to knock each other's teeth out and siphon gas.
One of Marvin's brothers, Mike, started using drugs at a young age and moved out of the house when he was in high school. Mike would later go on to end up in prison for receiving and concealing stolen property. So, one of the brothers is
taken after the parents, yeah.
His other brother, David, which was the younger brother, was also involved in criminal activity and had spent significant time in jail.
Not surprised.
On August 7th, 1996, Rachel Timmerman reported to Nyago County Sheriff's Department that she had been raped by Marvin Gabrion. So now Marvin's going to put his hat into the race.
Yeah.
She claimed that the night before she was invited to a card game by a family friend named Wayne Davis, who was a classmate of hers and Mikey Gabrion. So Mikey is Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So Davis and Mikey Gabrion picked her up along with Gabrion's uncle Marvin. On the way to the card game, Marvin Gabrion allegedly forced Davis and Mikey Gabrion out of the car before driving off and raping Rachel. Gabrion was arrested and charged with the crime. So now you've been arrested for rape.
Yep.
And he's going to end up having to go to trial for it. Now this is where the real crime comes in. On June 3rd, 1997, just 2 days before he was to go on trial for the charge of rape, Rachel Timmerman left her house with her 11-month-old daughter, Shannon. She told her family she was going on a date with a man she met at work. Her father would later receive a letter stating that she planned to leave town and elope. The prosecutor and the judge presiding over the case also received letters in Timmerman's handwriting stating that the rape allegations she had given him were not true and that she wanted to drop the charges against Marvin Gabrion. Another letter would eventually arrive to the family in Rachel's handwriting that said she left with a man named Delbert. So because they got these letters and they were in her handwriting, they thought it was legit.
Yeah.
So they didn't act on it. It wasn't like a missing person anymore. It was just like, oh, okay, she's gone. She left. A month later, on July 5th, 1997, Rachel's body was found by two fishermen in Oxford Lake, chained to cinder blocks, and her face wrapped with duct tape.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
According to the coroner, she was alive when she entered the lake and died from drowning. Rough.
Yeah. It's evil.
Imagine being those parents, though. I mean, you're getting these letters and...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure at one point they thought, man, that's kind of odd that she would do that. Just up and leave and, not go through with the rape allegations.
Right.
And, oh, well, we'll just sit at home. And then a month later, they find her body in a lake, chained to cinder blocks.
I'm guessing they forced her to write those.
Yeah. So when all this happened, I mean, initially the first suspect that's going to pop up is the guy she had the rape charges on, correct?
Yeah, right.
Well, by this time, Marvin Gabrion's whereabouts were unknown. So a search warrant was executed for his house, and keys that matched the padlock used to secure Rachel's body to the cinder blocks were found at his home.
Guilty.
Along with concrete blocks stained with the same paint as the ones that they had brought out of the lake.
Oh, he's guilty.
Now, Marvin Gabrion's nephew, Mikey, the one that was with him that night, also led police to a campsite that he knew that his uncle, Marvin, had stayed in often. And they did find Gabrion's tent there, Marvin's tent, along with bolt cutters, chain, duct tape, a woman's hair clip, and nipples for a baby bottle. Because if you remember, she has an 11-month-old daughter.
Right.
When investigators started going around Marvin Gabrion's home and interviewing people around there, they talked to a neighbor who reported that Marvin had a handyman named John Weeks, but he hadn't been seen around the property for a few weeks now. This John Weeks guy, they start to look into him and can't find him anywhere, so they eventually contact John Weeks' girlfriend, who identified Marvin Gabrion through a photograph as a man who she was introduced to as Lance. So John Weeks had introduced Marvin Gabrion to his girlfriend as Lance. Just so we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Nothing odd there.
Yeah, not at all.
She reported that Lance had left the area with her boyfriend John Weeks, and she hadn't heard from John for a while now, and she wasn't sure how to get a hold of him. She also spilled the beans to the police that on one occasion she caught John on the phone with a girl named Rachel. When she asked him about it, he told her that he was doing a favor for Lance, who wanted to be set up with her. So this is what the authorities believe was the mystery date who picked up Rachel and Shannon on the day they were last seen.
Oh, okay.
Remember the date she had a date with a guy? So basically what had happened was John Weeks gets on the phone, starts talking to this girl like, hey, yeah, let's go on a date, blah, blah, blah. She's like, great, crank it up. I'll meet you there. He picks her up. So now this guy's involved in it. Both of them are nowhere to be found. The search for Marvin Gabrion lasted 2 more months until they got a tip that he was getting ready to receive a Social Security check from a post office in Sherman, New York. So now he's in New York. Fled all the way from Michigan to New York.
Yeah.
With the good old Social Security check. Will get you every time.
Yes, it will.
FBI agents staked out the location, and as he left the post office, he was arrested. Now, the whereabouts of John Weeks, no one knows. However, Marvin Gabrion is also suspected in the disappearances of several other people. The house that he was living in when Rachel's body was found was owned by a man named Robert Allen. Allen was a mentally disabled man who was receiving Social Security at the time he went missing in 1995. Marvin Gabrion had actually cashed Allen's checks and lived in his home until 1997.
Wow.
He had actually impersonated Allen, which the authorities eventually caught on to. That was the Social Security checks that he was picking up when he got arrested.
Took him long enough to catch on.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's another missing person. Gabrion was convicted of Social Security fraud in July 1998 for his use of Allen's checks and sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. Wayne Davis, do you remember Wayne Davis, one of the guys that was involved in inviting Rachel to the card night?
Yeah.
He disappeared in February of 1997. He was actually set to testify against Marvin in the upcoming rape trial. So he was also going to testify. Now, Wayne Davis's house was searched, and it was found undisturbed. I mean, there was nothing out of place, anything, other than a stolen stereo system. That same stereo system was later found in the possession of Marvin Gabrion as he was trying to pawn it.
Oh, okay.
So there's another tie to you there, buddy. In July of 2002, Wayne Davis's body was found by a canoeist in Twinwood Lake, another body of water in the same national forest where Rachel's body was found.
Was it the same scenario with concrete bricks and duct tape, or?
That I do not know.
Oh, okay.
They didn't go into detail on that one.
Can I just say one thing? I did not know it was called a canoeist.
A canoeist?
I would have said a canoer. It was found by a canoer.
It was found by a canoer. Don't step in that canoer.
That's manure.
But yeah, so, I mean, 2 bodies found in the same national park,
Yeah.
the national forest that this guy's connected to. I mean, 2 plus 2 is almost always 4.
That's true.
Almost always.
Almost, yes.
Unless Dustin's doing it. Weeks and Allen are presumed deceased. Now, their bodies were never found. However, Marvin Gabrion will remain the prime suspect in both of those disappearances. But he has not been charged on them. Still, I mean, you can't charge somebody without a body.
Yeah, right.
In 2002, Marvin Gabrion was finally tried for the murder of Rachel Timmerman. Now, this trial is a true shit show. I mean, this guy goes off the deep end during this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say that, it gets nuts because all this stuff starts to come out where witnesses are coming out saying that their homes were set on fire following altercations with Marvin. Accusations of physical, sexual assaults were coming out. All this stuff's coming out on him. One lady even said that Marvin Gabrion had pointed a rifle at her and her 2-year-old kid as they walked to her car one day. I mean, he just... Everybody's learning just how unhinged Marvin Gabrion actually was.
Right.
But the trial itself is a circus in the fact that the judge rules on some things here that are really controversial. Marvin Gabrion tried to fire his counsel in the middle of the trial and defend himself, and the judge didn't allow it. He denied the right.
That never goes over well when you defend yourself.
Right, but the reason he does this is this guy is so unhinged in the courtroom, he actually punched his attorney in the face in front of the jury.
Wow.
He committed 40 other major infractions while at the jail. But wait, there's more. You like that on commercials and stuff like that? But wait, there's more. There actually is more. Because Marvin filed all kinds of bizarre motions using abusive and obscene language. And he accused the judge of sleeping with and impregnating 13 and 14-year-old girls.
What?
He also called his lawyer and the judge Satan and Hitler.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, the jury and everybody's just watching him just go absolutely crazy.
Uh-huh. Is he like trying to like say that he's insane and like fake it?
No, I think he's just really insane. I mean, his own attorneys would counter that all the stuff that he's doing was actually the results of multiple car accidents that had caused him brain injuries, as well as a troubled childhood. And the jury said, we ain't buying it.
Yeah.
And they convicted him, and he was sentenced to death.
Nice.
Now that is the tricky part of this. At the time, capital punishment is abolished in Michigan. It's been abolished since 1846. So how does he end up with the death penalty, you ask?
Yeah.
Ask it, Dustin.
I don't want to ask it.
Ask it. How?
It's federal.
It's not. How was it federal?
I'm just guessing.
It was. But I just wanted you to guess a little further. The reason that they were able to pin the death penalty on him in a non-death penalty state is because Rachel's body was found on federal land in that national forest. The prosecutors used that as a motion to seek the death penalty because it is federal land.
Right.
But was she killed on federal land?
That's the thing. Was she or was she not? However, the prosecutors used enough persuasion on the jury to convince them that she was actually killed in that national forest. Because if you remember, it says in her autopsy that she was alive when she went into the water.
Right.
She died of drowning.
Yep.
Right? He put the cinder blocks to her, and she drowned.
Yeah.
So she would have had to have died right there. Unless he drowned her somewhere, got her out of the water, took her and threw her in the water.
I doubt that.
Yeah.
Definitely. His defense team would argue that under the 8th Amendment in the Federal Death Penalty Act, that Marvin was entitled to argue to the jury during the penalty phase of his trial that they should consider any reasonable doubt that he had killed timbermen inside the national forest. The conviction was upheld, but the death penalty was overturned. The court was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't impose the death penalty.
Wow.
In 2013, the court got it right, and the appeal was overturned, and the death penalty was reinstated.
Nice.
Federally?
Federally. Marvin Gabrion is currently on death row at the United States Penitentiary in Terre Haute. On that death row in Terre Haute.
Only problem is, I mean, when Trump was in office, he was actually executing them. Now that Biden's in, they put a stop on the executions again.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days, right?
All right.
True.
I mean, I don't think we should be waiting for anything. We go back to the old dunk tank.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I don't know if you've read the comments from Kenny and Rob. Those are my guys that I'm going to have designed this thing.
Sounds like Rob's already got one built.
Oh, Kenny had some good ideas too.
Yeah.
He said that you should set up the tank like the dunk tank at carnivals, where they sit on a seat and the parents get to throw the balls at the target to try and get them to drop.
I like it.
It would be entertaining.
It would.
That would be funny.
I like it.
That is the story of Marvin Gabrion.
Good story.
Oh, also, 11-month-old Shannon was never found.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, never found. It's rough.
Terrible.
What you got for me, Rick?
All right. Go to, if you haven't done so, go to our Facebook page. Give us a like. Any comments, questions, ideas, you can email us at eviltransgression@gmail.com. And where can you find that link, Dustin?
You can go to eviltransgression.com and find all of our links to everything.
Really?
Everything.
Can you?
Wow.
A whole lot of everything.
Whole lot of... Stop it. Sound like the old president whispering into the mic. But yeah, you can go to our website and check everything out.
Okay.
So, what do you got, Josh?
What do I got? Send us your pictures of you in your evil transgression gear.
I see we got a couple new ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they are up on the website. If you go to eviltransgression.com, go to Evil Mob, Faces of Evil Mobs right there. Boom.
Also, I forgot something.
Yeah, won't you tell us about this Patreon?
Yeah, we have a new Patreon set up, so go and look at it. And there's different tiers and stuff added to it, but starting next month, we'll have Patreon-only episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Also, on those tiers, like we have a tier now, what we call the T-shirt tier. I think it's like the VIP tier or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
An exclusive Evil Transgression T-shirt
it's pretty sweet.
that has the artwork of our one and only Kiki. Kiona.
Yes.
The artwork of Kiona on it, which is a pretty badass shirt.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
She's got the electric couch from the episode.
Yep.
The electric couch. Love this picture, and it's going to look amazing in the studio.
Yes.
Hanging up. But yeah, I mean, not to go off on a crazy tangent, but it's a sweet shirt.
So go on over to Patreon, check it out.
Yeah, but with the Patreon tiers, you actually get some cool benefits now. Like if you're a part of this tier for 3 months, now that's not our decision, that's Patreon's decision, that you have to stick with that tier for 3 months. Then they give you the merch with that tier, right?
Right.
But I mean, even the smaller tiers was like a sticker or, some other stuff that they'll send out as well. So, I mean, check it out.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a sweet exclusive shirt. I mean, I don't even have one of these shirts, and I have all of our shirts.
I don't have one either.
You don't even have any shirts.
I know.
He's got a wife beater that he wrote Evil Transgression with a Sharpie.
Wearing it right now.
He's like, yeah, look at my new shirt.
Yeah, because I picked the white beater because you always pick white trash stories.
I did. It was a white trash story. Yeah, check it out. Check out the Patreon. Send us some love. Send us some pictures. Holla at your boys. And until next time, Evil Mob.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace.